I am Angela. I am a nurse practitioner and I have a clinic in Medina, Ohio. So I would love to welcome you to my family. We serve all 50 states and we are going to do the free consultation. So the way that the GLPs work is 3 ways. First, they work on the brain. They shut down the I'm craving, I'm hungry. What you have to do is learn to listen to that. So what we highly recommend is that you spend the first 30 days of your journey listening to your brain telling you that you are not hungry, you are not craving. Then what I want you to do is learn to listen to your stomach, because your stomach is going to start telling you, hey, I have food in here. And what you have to do is stop eating when you first hear, I have food in here. Do not eat to full, because if you do, you are going to be very uncomfortable. So you want to stop as soon as you hear, I have food in here. The third way that it works is the insulin resistance, which is super cool, because what it's going to do is you're going to have cardiovascular protection. You're going to have your kidneys and your liver starting to work better. You're going to have your neurovascular system start working better, and you're going to have your colorectal system working better. Then the side effects that we tend to have the most are nausea and constipation. So what I do you typically get nauseous easily? If you do, you need to tell your provider, because what we're going to do is prescribe you Zofran. And we're going to tell you to avoid simple carbs. That is anything processed white. So if it's processed by man to be white, avoid it. Because what that is going to do is cause indigestion, nausea. It can cause you to feel gross. Plus, that put us in the predicament that we're in the first place. So you need to avoid those foods. Now, constipation. You want to prevent constipation. So how you do that is by taking fiber. You want to start fiber slowly. I personally like Metamucil gummies. If you want to start off immediately, start with leaf air, which is pre and probiotics. I like leaf air for the ladies, or you can take another pre-probiotic, whatever you want. I really don't care. It's good for you. I also like magnesium made by Vev. That's VEV, and it's magnesium 14-in-1. You take it at bedtime. It also has ashwagandha, which is good for your brain. It has 10 magnesiums. It has L-theanine and zinc, which is good for your immune system as well as your thyroid. So you want to prevent constipation. Extremely important, because if you don't prevent it, it's going to become a problem. If you go 1 day without a bowel movement, take Miralax. Miralax is good because it's non-bowel addicting and it is non-cramping. If you have an issue, you start noticing that your bowels are not going for 2 to 3 days, you need to reach out to your provider. You can always contact us. We are more than happy to help you. So now let's talk about what you do need to eat. You need to make sure that 25% of your diet is complex carbs. Complex carbs are extremely important because they give you energy and they are going to give you your fiber. You want about 24 to 30 grams a day of fiber. Fiber is really important in helping those bowels move. You also want complex carbs because of energy. So those are naturally from the earth. That is your vegetables, roots, potatoes, whole grains, and oats. Now, you need to be careful with your fruit. Fruit is high glycemic. Okay, so fruit is going to turn into sugar if you're not going to burn it. So you can have your fruit, but make sure it's on your days that you're going to be exercising or you're going to be more active. That is extremely important. Now, the most important thing that we need is your protein. Protein is so important. So what you want to make sure you do is make sure that if you are a lady, you're getting 100 to 120 grams a day. Gentlemen, make sure you're 120 to 150 a day. If you want to be complex about your protein, find out how much muscle you have. Every pound of muscle is 1 gram of protein. It is so important. We're all worried about losing our hair, but we need to worry about losing our muscle. If you're losing your hair, you're losing your muscle. So we need to make sure that we are not losing our hair or our muscle. Okay, that is our free consultation. So if you want to really get a consultation, please reach out to us. The other important part, but I don't worry about that until you get to your stall, because it's going to happen. You're going to hit a stall. So when you hit your stall, what you need to do is you need to look at your calories. I don't want it to be complicated in the beginning. So what you do when you hit the stall, now we need to look at your calories. Never less than 1,200 calories. Women need typically 13 to 1,400. Guys typically 16 to 1,800. Everybody's a little bit different. We can figure that out when we get there. So when you hit the stall, now we need to look at your BMI. Typically, BMI 30 plus, you're going to lose 1 to 3 a week for the ladies, guys 3 to 5 a week. When you get to that BMI 24.9 to 29, now you might lose 1 to 3 a month for women, 3 to 5 a month for guys. Now, when you get below that 24.9, it gets a little bit more difficult and there's a lot more that we got to do. We don't want anybody's BMI less than 22. Never. We need that reserves because if something catastrophic happens, you get in trouble. You need that reserve. We never want a BMI less than 22. That is Angela's information. You can do with it what you want, but I will give you a free consultation anytime. Just reach out. Have a wonderful day.